very good evening to all the chefs who are there part of this webinar. And Healthy Food for Future is the theme for International Chefs Day. And we, on behalf of SICA, the entire board, SICA board senior chefs are all there on board. On behalf of them, I wish everyone happy and prosperous International Chefs Day. It's something which is interesting, and SICA is committed always as usual with all the events when we do things right. Like that is what we no compromise. That is what we try to focus on. And we chefs are professionals from the industry. We try to do anything with international standards. Well, let it be a competition, let it be a webinar, let it be whatever it is. Like so, I welcome all the chefs on board, and Chef Damu, who's our SICA Presidium, who's there with us. And we have Chef Bharani, who's all, there are a lot of legendary chefs part of this entire webinar. Chef Ramu Butler and Chef Kasi Vishwanathan is going to be part of this entire webinar. And of course, International Chefs Day was started by late Dr. Bill Gallagher in 2004 for all kind information in Erfurt during the culinary challenge, like culinary Olympics, and we were there at that particular site. We were all present. Myself, Chef Soundarajan, and Chef Ilungo. All three of us, we were part of the event, and when we were there, this was inaugurated. Since then, every year it is religiously taken up very interesting, and now it has gone global. Yeah, I don't have space in my Facebook as well as in my WhatsApp, in all social media. That is how many wishes. I think it has caught up, and anybody who so far I met almost 20-30 guests in the morning. Everybody is aware, and they were all wishing me. Like in fact, International Chefs Day has been it's caught up very well, and it's being celebrated. And every year, WACS World Chefs Association gives us a theme, and based on the theme, we celebrate the International Chefs Day, and we carry it forward through the entire year. Like, see, we try to do events based on this International Chefs Day theme. That is how we celebrate. SICA is committed. At the same time, we insist and recommend all the culinary institutes, in catering establishments, hotels, to do their International Chefs Day celebration and send us a report to the SICA Presidium or SICA office, so that they will be recognized with the upcoming event. We will be recognizing them with the medal and the certificate for all these kind of events which is happening. So we will be having a record as well, and we will be consolidating the record. What we and always remembering that it is our duty to pass on our knowledge and culinary skills to the next generation chefs, with a sense of pride and commitment to the future. This is what is from WACS basically for all of you. And of course, to tell a couple of lines about SICA. SICA is a South Indian Chefs Association, which was started in the year 1998 by 7 chefs who were there, professional chefs from the industry, and all the professional chefs are members in this entire committee. And as well, we have a very big committee. We have different women committee, we have marketing committee, and all those things. Like, there's a lot of young chefs involved. The next generation chefs are already there on board, so they should really take over very fast from us. So that is what is something which we are all looking forward to. At the same time, there is a small message from WACS Presidium, Chef Thomas Googler.
Very special greeting on the occasion of the International Chefs Day to all my chef friends, colleagues, and culinarians from SICA, from the South Indian Chef Association. I address this message very especially to you because you asked me actually for a nice welcome word to all your chefs. And as I visited your region so many times, I just can say, like usual, incredible India. And on this special day, I believe all the chefs from around the world have to stay together, have to stick together, and think very positive towards a brighter future. Always stay safe and stay healthy. I'm wishing you all the very, very best to you and the families. And always think positive. Believe in the power of the white jacket, and I'm looking forward to see you somewhere around the world very, very soon. Have a happy International Chefs Day!
So I think this was a nice welcome speech by a Presidium of WACS, Chef Thomas Googler. We thank him on behalf of SICA. And we do have a message from Rick Stephen, Chef Rick Stephen, who is our Continental Director for Asia.
My good friends in Chennai, and to all the people in the South Indian Chefs Association, I bring you greetings from Singapore, and I'd like to say a big hello to my good friend and mate, Dr. Damu. International Chef's Day is coming up on the 20th of October, and this is something that Billy Gallagher put together. And Dr. Bill, everyone knows he was a legend. This time of the year for us for International Chef's Day can be a bit challenging with the social distancing, but in spirit we all should be supporting it. All our friends in India need to be safe. The world can only get better when we work all together and we follow the laws and that. It's time on to reflect on what we have been, where we are going, and it's the time to learn. When we learn, we make the world a better place. So training is important, internal training, video training. I encourage all students and chefs to aim to the next level, to do your best and to make your family proud. It's a funny time this time of the year. Normally we're all together celebrating somehow International Chef's Day. I want you to celebrate within yourself and within your community, but be safe. Guys, doesn't take much to put it on, so put it on. Be safe, and I look forward to coming to Chennai soon. Cheers.
I think we thank our Continental Director, Chef Rick Stephen, who's a legendary chef. There is a small message from him on International Chef's Day. Basically, he's based out of Singapore, of course, and he's a big supporter, and he always encourages us, this entire region as well as Asia, for the chefs in a bigger way. He's very committed, and he contributes a lot throughout the year. Very committed chef. It's very rare to see such kind of talented chefs who is very committed to the development of chefs fraternity. We thank Chef Rick Stephen, and of course, today the topic is healthy food for future, something which is interesting, and we need food. Food is we Indians consider food as medicine, and we believe in, like, basically. And I think we have Chef Damu, who will be talking about this food is medicine, which is our philosophy in our country. And Dr. Chef Damu, I don't have to introduce him in a big way. I think he is our presidium. He's basically a celebrity chef. He's one among the most celebrated chef in South India, and not only South India, throughout Asia as well, and throughout Europe as well. Wherever he goes, there's a big crowd pulling, mostly all ladies and lady fans, girls and ladies fans with him, and he's our presidium, of course, and everybody would have seen him in ads and TVs and everywhere, YouTubes, and he's very popular. He's of course a Guinness World Record holder for the longest cooking, 24 hours continuously he has cooked, and he has created so many dishes, of course, and doing lots of demonstrations on various TV channels, very popular. And of course, he's a judge in culinary challenges in the TV's very popular channels like Vijay TV and Sun TV and all those things. And of course, conducted a lot of food festivals and food promotions across the globe, and conducted a lot of competitions. And of course, he is basically a professor who was there in the college as well, who has contributed a lot of time doing lectures with all the young students, developing a lot of young students. To be precise, today morning he was there in SRM College, encouraging the students there, and the team there, basically, and he has rushed back to this particular webinar. And we request Chef Damu to come on board and talk about food is medicine, which we believe in. Can you throw some light on that, Chef?
Sure, thank you. First of all, thanks for this opportunity. And this junction, I'd like to wish all the chefs International Chef Day. Have a great time. I enjoy cooking, and happy cooking to you. The topic given to me is food is medicine and medicine is food. I just want a little bit in Tamil also. I just want to talk about this. திருக்குறள்ல மருந்தென வேண்டாம் யாக்கைக்கு அருந்தியது அற்றது போற்றி உனின். மருந்தென வேண்டாம் யாக்கைக்கு அருந்தியது அற்றது போற்றி உனின். ஒருவன் யார் முதல்ல சாப்பிட்றான் இல்லையா, முதல்ல சாப்பாட்டை சாப்பிட ஜீரணமான பிறகுதான் அடுத்த சாப்பாடு சாப்பிடணும். அப்போதான் அவனுக்கு உடம்பே வராது. So the first food what you taken, it should be digested, then only you should go for the second meal. So the person who does that, he doesn't get any diseases. If you're going to see the timing, morning breakfast, evening, afternoon lunch, and evening dinner, and according to the timing we go to pay, you are going to put into trouble. And they say 3 methods of eating. பசி வந்த பிறகு சாப்பிடணும், அதாவது சாப்பிடும்போது மென்னணும், அதாவது it has to be grind together in the mouth, it has to be nicely powdered and then only you have to swallow. Then you should eat alava. What is the quantity? You must eat very the minimal quantity you're supposed to eat. These 3 rules you follow, definitely you don't fall sick. Okay, I come back to the food is medicine. According to the elderly people who are there in the village side, அவங்க doctors இல்லை. They see even the birth of the child, they only see. To develop a labor pain, they give jeera water. They boil the jeera with the hot water and give it. Then automatically the labor pain develops. So the jeera has got up at medicinal value. Agathai சீர் செய்வது சீரகம். If you heat heavily, and then you for the digestion purpose, you add a jeera to the water, boil it, and then you have that water, it gets easily digested. Another one, 10 மிளகு இருந்தால் பகைவனை வெல்லலாம். This means, suppose you are having a food in the enemy's house, maybe that food has got a poison, you eat that food, when you come out, the ingredients, the pepper, whatever you are having, the 10 pepper you have in hand, that if you take it and munch it and swallow it, the poison actually goes away. That is, murinji pol, it is actually been vanished. So that much of a power the pepper has got. Those days, they're using nearly about 7 ingredients for everyday's food to keep healthy. That's why they said healthy food. In the food, these are the 7 ingredients without fail they use it. Green chili, mint leaves, coriander leaves, turmeric, pepper, cumin, and garlic. So they don't go to the doctor because these are ingredients got by itself as a medicine. With this only they prepare food. Maybe ஒரு காரக்குழம்போ இல்லை வத்த குழம்போ ஒரு ரசமோ இல்லை குழம்போ இந்த மாதிரி இதை யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது the medicinal value in the ingredients are there, it's easy for them to consume and they keep healthy. Even today, 90 years old man in the village side, he goes for the கலவுக்காக வெட்டுறதுக்கும் நாட்டு நடுறதுக்கும் போறாங்க because they keep healthy themselves because of the food. So you see, actually, you see, this ingredient, the house, those days, the village side, ஒரு நான் போய் எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு நான் போன இடத்துல நியர் தட் பிள்ளையார்பட்டி கானாடு காத்தான், தட் இஸ் அ பிளேஸ் வேர் ஐ யூஸ் டு கோ. தே ப்ரிப்பேர் ஒரு ராகி கஞ்சி, கருவாட்டு குழம்பு, அண்ட் ஆல்சோ முருங்கீரை பொரியல். திஸ் வாட் தே given to me. They say முருங்கீரை பொரியல் has got, that is drumstick leaves flour has got more of iron content. They eat that once in 2 days. Similarly, logi has got a strength and also the starch as well as they have what you call fiber content. And the Bombay duck curry, they have a lot of energetic because again a lot of calcium. The method of cooking, the equipment what they use tends to be different. They use the manchetti, that is a clay pot, ஈய பாத்திரம், பித்தளை பாத்திரம், கும்டி அடுப்பு, கட்டை, விறகு கட்டை. The firewood, the range is actually those days they were using the கும்டி அடுப்பு சொல்றேன். அதில் வச்சு தான் சட்டி வச்சு தான் குக் பண்றாங்க. The taste is amazing. They use only that what you call the manual grinding for idli as well as for the chutneys. Once you make with that the manual grinding, the taste entirely differs. கைமணம் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, கைமணம்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய அந்த மனம், அதாவது அந்த டேஸ்ட் அந்த அம்மிக்கல் அரைக்கும் போது இருக்கு, ஆட்டுக்கல்ல இட்லி காட்டும் போது வருது, அந்த இட்லி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பஞ்சு மாதிரி வருது. So those equipments are there. Manual equipments are not now. It's not there. Only the electrical operated equipments are come, but still in the village side, those equipments are there. So that's they say ஒரு ஜரம் இருக்கு, ஒரு சளி இருக்கு, அதுல அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா அதிமதுரம், சித்திரத்தை, கண்டத்திப்பிலி, சுக்கு, மிளகு, வால்மிளகு, பனங்கல்கண்டு. இது எல்லாத்தையும் இடிச்சு போட்டு பனங்கல்கண்டு போட்டு நல்லா கொதிக்க வச்சு பால் எடுத்து கொடுத்தா யூ டோன்ட் கெட் ஃபீவர், யூ டோன்ட் கெட் கோல்ட் ஆல்சோ, யூ டோன்ட் கெட். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இந்த சித்த மருத்துவத்துக்கும் நாட்டு மருத்துவத்துக்கும் ஒரு குணம் என்னன்னா, அந்த ஃபுட் இஸ் மெடிசன்றது. இது அது எல்லாமே நோயை ஃபுல்லாவே அவங்க வந்து சரி பண்ணது ஒன்லி வித் தி இன்கிரீடியன்ட், ஃபுட் இன்கிரீடியன்ஸ் ஒன்லி தி யூஸ்ட் இட். ஸோ இப்போ இன்னொன்று பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, அந்த கிராமத்து பக்கம் கூட்டாஞ்சோறுன்னு செஞ்சாங்க. இந்த கூட்டாஞ்சோறு again it has got a lot of medicinal value where all the ingredients are put together from each and every house. They put it in the center of the house, they bring it in a big vessel, they again the firewood எல்லாத்தையும் அதில் போட்டு குக் பண்ணி எல்லாரும் ரவுண்டு கட்டி உட்காந்தாங்க. போட்டு கையில் வந்து உருண்டை கொடுத்து அந்த உருண்டையை வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் ஆசையை சாப்பிட்டாங்க. அந்த கையில் பிடிச்சி உருண்டை கொடுக்கும்போது again the health point of view is very good. And then the நீராகாரம் was the food. Actually பார்த்தீங்கன்னா one of the very very popular drink நீராகாரம். நம்ம அதை பழைய சாதம் சாப்பிட்றது இல்லை. பழைய சாதம் என்ன பண்ணுறோம், தண்ணியில் சாதத்தை வடித்து தண்ணி ஊற்றி வச்சிருக்கோம். மறுநாள் காலம் அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, அந்த தண்ணியை இருத்துட்டு அந்த தண்ணியில் மோர் விட்டு ஒரு கல் உப்பு போட்டு குடிக்கிறாங்க. அது பேர் நீராகாரம் சொல்கிறாங்க. அது என்னன்னா, இட்ஸ் கிவிங் லாட் ஆஃப் எனர்ஜி டு தி பாடி, கூலிங் டு த பாடி. தே ட்ரிங்க் தட் நீராகாரம், தென் தி கோ டு த ஃபீல்ட். இப்போ இந்த நாற்று நடத்துக்கும் கலப்பிடுறதுக்கு போகிறாங்க. மத்தியானம் லஞ்ச் என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னா, அந்த மீதி சாதம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, சாதத்தை பசங்கி அந்த டிஃபன் பாக்ஸில் போட்டு பச்சை வெங்காயம், பச்சை மிளகாய் அதை வச்சு தான் சாப்பிட்றாங்க. Then when they come back home in the evening only, they make a fish curry, maybe whatever the gravy. So this is actually பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இந்த நீராகத்தில் so much of medicinal value. அந்த சாப்பாட்டில் இந்த சின்ன வெங்காயம் பச்சை மிளகாய் போட்டு சாப்பிடும்போது ஒரு மெடிசனல் வேல்யூ. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து இட் பை இட் செல்ஃப் they don't know. Best part, I said, they don't know what they're eating, but they know, I mean, the medicinal value is there. So now we know what we are doing it. We don't know what we are eating, but we are eating for the taste purpose only, not for the medicinal value purpose. We are not talking about the chef. That's generally public, I'm saying it. For the taste purpose only they're eating, not for the medicinal value purpose. So regarding this, the COVID, everybody started drinking the kabasura neat. Some of the houses, what they did, they made a kashayam. That kashayam, that is actually, I am saying the food is medicine. That kashayam has got beetle leaves, battala, lavangam, patta, cinnamon, ginger, lemon, honey. இது போட்டு குடிக்கும்போது the immunity, that is நோய் எதிர்ப்பு சக்தி கூட சொல்லக்கூடிய immunity capacity has become more actually. So இந்த மாதிரி நாட்டு மருந்துகள், நாட்டு ingredients, அதாவது herbs and spices, we have got a lot of medicinal value. For one example, if the sugar patients are there, for sugar patients to control the sugar, what we are doing it now, we are now actually, I've given almost more than about 2,000 people. The sugar level is now at the most in the border now, because they were taking medicine. Doctor said, no, stop the medicine. What he told them, take 1 handful of fenugreek, 2 handful of coriander seeds, and 6 pieces of cinnamon. Just heat that. Don't boil it, sorry, don't fry it, don't make it hot. Just heat that, separately grind it together. Put together and separately grind it. So cinnamon separately grind it, the coriander seeds as well as fenugreek grind it separately. Then powder it, mix together. You test actually before you take this the powder, your fasting, sugar fasting, maybe 140. You take for 1 month. You taste it for 1 month, then your sugar, the fasting will be 120, 100% sure. So all the ingredients which are using in the food, it has got a highly medicinal value. For example, we are feeling hungry, so we're feeling headache, or maybe a stomachache, or maybe you are feeling a restlessness. Only 1 teaspoon of fenugreek, if you take it with the buttermilk, your headache, or stomachache, your restlessness goes off. So if you take that way, each and every ingredient, I'm talking about even including asafoetida, you just have maybe you just mix it with a little water and then add to the buttermilk. What happens? Your gastritis problem goes off. Everybody feels is a ghee is actually high cholesterol. 1 teaspoon of ghee takes your gastritis, the ulcer, what you see now, it goes, the duodenal ulcer as well as peptic ulcer, it goes off. So these are the ingredients which acts as a medicinal value for the human being. And the cooking method, cooking utensils are definitely for the herbs as well as the spices are different, not in the stainless steel vessels. It has need definitely the particular the utensils are required. And the village said, I'm talking about maybe the biryani or whatever, the curry sour, whatever we had. What they say, you eat less of the meat, maybe the protein content, and eat more of vegetables. More of vegetables you eat. And whenever you eat, we are eating about 3 times a day, with maybe a vegetable, whatever it is. They say you break into that 3 times of food 7 times. Maybe suppose I'm having it idli 4 in the morning, that divided into two. Two idli, maybe at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, maybe two idli. The reason that particular food acting as medicinal, medicine in the body. Eating together, eating separately, got a lot of meaning. Energetic, definitely, because of this way you eat, definitely is there. If you go and talk about the medicinal value, I said for the cancer, maybe what you call the breast cancer, they say mint leaves, coriander leaves, and green chili. It's a really actually very good decision for the breast cancer. So many things are like that. The medicinal value. I'm talking about only the ingredients. I've not given you the food totally, what you can make it, how you can make it. Because once you get the ingredients, you know what are the dishes that you can make it. Maybe this, I'm talking about for this COVID, the food is medicine. The soup I'm going to give you. We're adding the shallots, the chopped small onion into the pan. Maybe the country tomatoes, drumstick leaves, crushed ginger, crushed garlic, cinnamon, cloves, turmeric powder. Already added the drumstick leaves, adding water to that. You boil it nicely. Now, the present situation, at least once in 2 days, if you take that, definitely the immune capacity is increasing it. நோய் எதிர்ப்பு சக்தின்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய அந்த நோய், அந்த பொருள் ஆனது, அந்த ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வந்து இந்த முருங்கைக்கீரையில இருக்கு, முருங்கைக்காயில இருக்கு, நான் சொன்ன சின்ன வெங்காயத்துல இருக்கு, பூண்டுல இருக்கு. ஸோ ஒன்னொன்னு சொல்லிட்டே போகலாம். அதே மாதிரி நைட்ல பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா பால் குடிக்கிறோம். அந்த பால்ல வந்து மிளகுத்தூளும் மஞ்சள் போட்டு குடிச்சா இந்த இரும்பல் சளி வராது. துளசியில போட்டோம், துளசியை வந்து தண்ணியில போட்டு, கிருஷ்ணா துளசின்னு இருக்கு, அதர் துளசி, பிளைன் துளசி இது. யூ டேக் தட், put it in the water overnight and drink in the morning, definitely you don't get the chest condition, won't be there. So everything, every ingredient has got a lot of medicine value. But only my request to all the youngsters, please try to follow the traditional food than going for the modern food. Because the traditional food has got a lot of medicinal value compared to the modern food. If you want to be healthy, because the very lovely topic is given by the Vax, healthy food for the future. If you want to be healthy in the future, definitely the traditional food has to come back. The traditional ingredient has to come back. And also the traditional way of making things has to come back. And you must eat properly, right time, right food, right age. So this is what I just want to tell you. Thanks very much. Thank you very much for all the opportunity given to me and the Presidium, as well as to all the chefs. Once again, my wishes to you International Chef's Day.
Thank you, Chef Damu, and you are on dot. I think you utilized your time very well, and you are really on time. And I think there are a lot of takes from your speech. Basically, eat when you're hungry. That is something which everybody has to be very particular. I think people should not eat whenever they feel like. When they're hungry, they should eat. Eat whenever you're hungry. That is something which is. And then we, as per your entire presentation, we understood like herbs, eating herbs. We are almost eating herbs and spices, which is good for health throughout our meals, like from breakfast to dinner. Like that is what we are able to understand. And of course, love is to we Indian mothers or Indian kids are being feeding their hand. Love is being fed. Of course, we have to medicine on a daily meal. fathers, they were all living healthy, consuming all. So something which we need to be very particular. Of course, ghee. Till 40, you have to have ghee, and above 40, you should have more of honey. That's what they say for as per Ayurveda and Siddha. I think I'm a right chef, like, I think a lot of chefs are wishing International Chefs Day wishes are there, and a lot of participants were wishing. And of course, any questions, please type it in the chat box. We will come back to you. And now I request Chef Bharani. Who is there in our panel. He's one among the senior most chefs and legendary young chef who is there in this panel and who is always there with Sika and who is a strong supporter and encouraging a lot of young chefs and developing a lot of new concepts as well. Bharanidharan has 30 years of extensive and varied experience in the field of cuisine and food operations and manufacturing. And of course, 30 years is a big time. Of course, Chef Bharani, are you ready, Chef? Chef Bharanidharan.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear. Just a minute,
Okay.
Chef. Just a minute. He is a founder in 2019 till date. Founder COO. Chef's Imprint is a new company which he has floated and he is managing it. Food and beverage consultancy and advisor as well. He's having two companies on his own now, and he was a culinary director, culinary innovations and business development in Global Innovation Council and Global Culinary Council in Griffith Laboratories from 2008 to 2019. 2019 to 2008, he was in the School of Oberoi School of Management, and he was heading the team there. And Oberoi's, he was there as an executive chef the executive chef in Oberoi's at Oberoi's Hotels and Resorts. He was one among the highly respected chefs in this in that entire group during this period. He was much knowledgeable and he was a hardworking chef, basically handling a lot of food and beverage operations there for the entire group. And he has visited and he has an exposure of across 35 countries plus, covering global cuisine, food operation, and food manufacturing. He has very wide knowledge in culinary department as well as nutrition and dietetics as well as in food technology. He has very wide knowledge in all this in these areas. And of course, his qualification is postgraduate in Oberoi School of Management. He's a gold medalist as well. And Global Chefs Association, he's a WAX Education Board member. And he has a lot of advisory capabilities. And of course, he's a certified judge, WAX certified judge. As of now, he's holding that certificate and he's there valid till next 6 months, because of the pandemic. And I request Chef Bharani to talk on what is slow food. Chef, I would like you to give your knowledge on what is slow food. Is slow food healthy? Is it traditional? Chef, to you.
Yeah. Hi, chefs. Happy International Day to everybody. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah, very much, very audible, and all are muted. That's why they're not shouting back.
Okay, great. First and foremost, Chef Damu, Chef Sitaram, Chef Ramu, and Chef Kasi, great to be in the panel with you. And thanks for this lovely opportunity. You can see me walking around with an umbrella because I'm actually in a farm.
Oh, great.
Talk about slow food. It's pouring in Bangalore, as you can see. And there's so much of thunder and lightning. I'm risking my life to talk to you guys. Okay, let's talk about slow food. Okay. Slow food is very much linked to traditional food. It's what our ancestors did, where they grew what seeds, what plants, what trees were available in a particular locale. Unfortunately, over the years, due to all commercialization of agriculture, we've lost a lot of these precious seeds. We've lost a lot of these precious plants, which many people are now dying to kind of revive. I actually am in North Bangalore, and I would very proudly say this is one of the best examples for slow food. This is actually a huge kitchen garden, which is all organic. They use no fertilizer. There's absolutely no pesticides. It's totally organic. Okay, you can see the marigold plants here. They are natural repellents. If you can see the marigold plants, the sunflower seeds are seeds which can help me get super seeds onto my bread. Here there is corn. which is a native variety of corn. And you can see them, they're all getting ready, which are not as sweet as the American corn, but they have a fantastic texture. They're very, very tender. And here to Chef Damu's mentioned, Siruvangayam, if you can see it. And here you can see a local red radish. You can see it growing here. And I'm just going to walk across.
He's walking.
Oh, that's scary lighting, huh?
In.
Here is a lady's finger variety, which actually is a combination of green and red. Zucchini plants. Here you see more sunflower plants and native chili varieties. And there is a lot of basil. You can see purple basil. You can see the Italian basil. You can see various lettuce varieties growing. So this is a great example of how slow food movement can happen. Slow food is all about being good to nature, being good to the soil, being good to the people who are in a particular locality. Whatever you forage, whatever is the local produce which you organically develop, there should be a sense of satisfaction as you put it together. Nothing can be in a hurry. You need to be enjoying it with passion while you cook it. Most importantly, you leave the environment very clean. You leave the environment clean so that you don't spoil the environment. You don't spoil the water. You don't spoil the air. The natural pesticides used in this farm, for the information of the chefs, is just neem oil. It's only neem oil. And they use natural ash. They have no sprays. And the produce is totally seasonal. And the farmers who grow it are actually given a better value than what is due, so that they get a better price. The middlemen are kept away. This is all many elements of slow food. And just to say how chefs can play a part, whilst you understand the knowledge, you have to translate that into real being. Okay, I'm walking across the garden, and if you can see this construction site, that's actually a kitchen coming up where a lot of slow food will be put together. So we grow, we forage in the sense we collect the entire produce, and then we cook with passion, with a sense of gratification, which calms your mind and your body. And Chef Damu mentioned very, very categorically, don't be in a hurry. Eat when you want, cook with delight, enjoy your meal, and enjoy the presence in the earth. Otherwise, everything is in a hurry. Commercialization gets you a few tons extra per acre. But what does it do? It sends in fertilizers and pesticides and everything into you. And the chefs do not understand that the produce is natural. They do not understand if it is good for the health. All you do is buy from the market. So chefs have to play a huge role in slow food and see what difference that they can make. I'm a little loud to a couple of you because I can't hear myself because of the rain. Pardon me for that. From the chef's point of view, many of you would have heard of the restaurant Noma. I had an opportunity to be there, and it was one of the best experiences. He actually has his own garden where he forages seasonally. Not only does he forage produce, he forages even plants to smoke. He forages pine cones to smoke his food. He forages hay from the farms to give flavor to his grilled cauliflower. Everything is local, and all of you know how big the restaurant Noma is. Okay? So chefs around the world are actually following this as a principle. I know it's raining a bit. I'm going to show you a couple of dishes. I'm not sure if you can see it. I hope you can see the two dishes. There is an iced tea. This iced tea, to Chef Damu's note, actually has cinnamon, ginger, tulsi, and allspice. Allspice as a leaf. And this allspice grows in this compound. And allspice, as you all know, has 3 or 4 combinations of flavors, right? It's so very good, the leaf, apart from the actual berry. The berry is kebab chini, which is used in kebabs. But here we have crushed it and we used it in the iced tea. Okay? Here you have a salad. If you can see it. I wanted to eat it, but it's raining. I have to hold the umbrella. There you go. Can you see it? See, chefs have to improve in the technology, man.
Yes,
telling
yes,
you.
yes, yes.
We need better shooting equipment.
No, we
Okay,
should-
there
we
you
need-
go.
We need
So that-
waterproof cameras
Yeah, I
and
know, I
lights.
know.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
we will get it organized.
Yeah. So this one is basically guava and papaya grown in the farm here with the chilies which have been foraged, the natural domestic chili made into a dressing. And then we put it all together as a raw papaya and guava salad for the season. And that probably is one of the good examples that I can give you. Sorry, I couldn't manage myself well because of the rain and I'm pretty drenched. So I'll stop here. Hope I was able to give a small little synopsis of what slow food is. Wishing you all a happy International Day once again. And lovely to meet you all on this forum. And thanks for the opportunity. Cheers, guys. I got to run back to the shade. It's raining, pouring.
Okay. Thank you, Chef. I think, Chef, I think there are a couple of questions. Once you settle down, I think when you're normal.
Yeah,
then we
you
will
can
be-
go ahead. Please shoot. I'm just getting into the tent.
Once you okay, thank you, Chef. And I think it was a difficult time for you, and it was really raining heavily there in your farm. And I think Chef Barney has gone into the farm straight away, where they do a lot of organic farming. It's an 100-acre farm. That's what I'm able to understand from Chef Barney. Now you're okay, safe. You're safe, Chef. You're okay.
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. And I think slow food is something which is organic, which is natural, which is grown locally. And he was explaining about a lot of local seeds and local plants which is being grown in the farm, which is very, very interesting. And of course, can you tell a little more about Noma Chef? Noma, I think every chef wants to know more about Noma. I think we all know a little better, and I think you can throw some more light on Noma. What is Noma and what is the restaurant? What is the chefs do there?
Noma, as we all know, is Rennie Redzep. He's a chef who traveled Europe, picked up a lot of knowledge. But when he came back to his country, he wanted to create a difference with the local produce, with the local seasonal vegetables and availability, and his own very style of cooking. So probably he would slice cauliflower available in the season, lettuces, kale, which is available during the winters, and probably he'll have one of his chefs outside his kitchen actually grilling on a pit where he used to throw pine cones and hay to get the right flavor into the food and then send it into this restaurant to be plated. So 2 things he did is, 1, he picked up the finest of technical, the finest of culinary knowledge and the techniques when he traveled into Europe. He came back to his own country and his motherland. He understood the produce there and its uniqueness. He combined all this knowledge and created something which is unique and very, very popular and well known of his own. So chefs who can do this are a very good example of going back to their roots and evolving and foraging the produce available in their roots and creating magic out of it. So another
Yeah.
example I would give of a gentleman who was actually in Peru, in Lima, when we visited him. He had actually worked in Europe and gone back. He went to the forests, and along with the tribes, he used to forage all the mushrooms and bring it. And his cuisine philosophy was a dialogue between nature and the chef. So he foraged and put his techniques and brought it together. Over to you, chef.
Thank you, Chef. Chef, I think yesterday you were mentioning about mind space and food space, something which you were, when we were doing a recce, you were mentioning about, can you just elaborate a little bit on that, Chef?
Great. So if I was 20 years younger, and probably I was
You are
working
still
in-
young. You are still young.
No, I've got to be 50, so I'm no longer young.
Okay.
Whilst I like to believe that I'm young.
50 is not an age.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think you
you.
should validate it.
Thank you. So 25 years ago, when we used to probably be in our young days in the kitchen, we used to finish a meal and probably just jump out and go have a burger or a pizza, because our mind space was, we were tired, we want to get out of the kitchens, we want to get a drink, and we want to eat something. Today, as you evolve, your mind space and the way you think is very different. You want to have a give back to the society, a give off on your health, a responsibility towards your. Hence, the way you approach your life, the food, the ingredients, and your job takes a total 360-degree turn. What was priority 20 years ago probably is not priority anymore. So here I am in the rains, enjoying walking in the slush and discussing foraging and setting up a small restaurant, which probably is going to cook it. 20 years ago, we said, let's create a fine dining restaurant and a five-star hotel probably. So that's the mind space shift. When a youngster is so very stuck today in his mobile, in his iPads, in his computer, in his education, we have the responsibility as chefs and parents to see if we can show them the better part of life, which is the roots, which is the tradition of the entire world. If they realize that, their eating habits will improve, their appreciation of produce which are native will improve, their appreciation of food and cuisine of our nation and our roots will be probably seen better.
Thank you, Chef.
I hope I did justice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chef. And I think we were able to see the nature's delight at drink and the salad. I hope it is there for your. It was there for made for your lunch, and I think you are not still consumed.
It actually got washed down, but nevertheless, I'm glad the chefs got to see it.
I'm sorry, and I think you are living with the concept and healthy food for future. You are there literally there in the farm. Actually, it's something interesting. Generally, we do PPT, a PowerPoint, and then we try to sit in the room and present. But you have gone to the farm, and I think you have given us a lot of information. Of course, nature is something which we need to preserve as per your guidelines and all those things. We need to follow a lot of things, and of course, chefs today has to be seasonal. Chefs, as Chef Barney rightly mentioned, we need to make menus as per the season, availability of raw materials, fruits, vegetables, and we need to change our menus as per the availability of the local ingredients as well. So that is something which every chef has to practice. Thank you, Chef Barney, and it was very useful and interesting as well. So now I request
Most
Chef
welcome.
Qasim.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you, Chef. Thank you for your time as well. Okay, and he was in a busy schedule, and we were able to really pull him out. Like Chef, I think you please have some evening tea or snack, something like that. Okay. Okay. Now I think I bring in Chef Kasi Vishwanathan, who is one among the experienced chef, vice president of SICA Kerala chapter. Karnataka chapter, and he is a qualified professional, 25 years plus of industrial experience, India and abroad. He is basically a specialized chef in Mediterranean cuisine and worked with a couple of Michelin star chefs in Burj Al Arab Hotel and Emirate Towers at Dubai. He is a proud team member to create. He is a proud team member to create food and catering to President Bill Clinton, Brunei Sultan, Jordan Queen Raina, and many other international dignitaries when he was there in Burj Al Arab and Emirate Towers. He has done a lot of food promotions in Sri Lanka, Iran, Bahrain, Singapore, and Seoul, Cairo, and Dubai as well. He has promoted Indian food in all these countries. Chef Kasi likes spending his time developing young generation chefs, and he's also certified chef trainer as well. And of course, he's a certified tax jury. At the same time, he has opened many restaurants and developed a lot of various concepts on food and beverage during his tenure. He is now heading the operations of food and beverage department as a director of food and beverage at Radisson Blue Atria, Bengaluru. Representing India in Seoul for promoting Indian food 2015, he has personally gone there and promoted Indian food there. We request Chef Kasi to talk on a topic called cooking should be a life skill. Cooking should be considered as a life skill, and why it is not practiced or preached. Chef Kasi, over to you.
A very good evening, and first of all, I would like to wish a very, very, very happy International Chef's Day to all the culinarians across the globe. And special wishes to Chef Sitaram, Chef Damu, Chef Barney, and Chef Ramu, who's also here in this webinar along with me. Well, going down to the subject, cooking is a life skill. Obviously, cooking is a life skill. It's basically தமிழ்ல சொல்ல போனா இட்ஸ் கை தொழில். நம்ம கையில உள்ளது நமக்கு தான். அது நம்ம மற்றவங்களுக்கு சொல்லி கொடுக்கலாம். ஆனா நம்ம கையில உள்ளது நமக்கு எப்பொழுதுமே இருக்கும். So coming back, the skill what you earned during your experiences, it will always remain with you. So cooking is a life skill, lifetime skill. What you learn today will be always there with you till you breathe last. But then, if you go back and see the good old days, we used to call this cooking school as Gurukula. Not only cooking school, generally schools have been called as Gurukulams. India has always boasted of a rich tradition
I think now we will bring in Chef Ramu Butler, and Chef Ramu Butler is on the panel. And once I think the signals are clear, Chef Kasi will be back on the screen as well. And there is some problems in Bangalore where it's raining heavily, and due to that the audio is getting cut. Audio and video is getting cut, and once it is ready, Chef Kasi is ready, he will be back again. And now I request Chef Ramu Butler to come on board, and he's there with us. And Chef Ramu Butler, he's a chef cum restaurateur, and he's owning a restaurant called B2Bay at Kochi, and hospitality kitchen consultant and food stylist. He is one among the senior most and passionate legendary chefs, young chefs who is still there in the industry and who's live. He is a vice president of Sika Kerala chapter. He is a certified international culinary jury for certified wax culinary jury, and he's a member of NetProfi in Kerala, and he's CIA Food Panel Committee member Kerala. He has continuous experience of 22 years in this profession as a chef as well as the food and beverage director with a lot of international brands in abroad as well as in India as well. He was instrumental in setting up F&B operations in various group of hotels in India and abroad like Taj, Hilton, Inno Cruise Liners, Club Mahindra, Radisson's, and Ramada. Of course, he has worked almost in all the leading brands which we are able to see. Chef Ramu Butler was awarded Smart Chef National Award as well as one National Award by IFCA International Chefs Conference, 6th International Chefs Conference. He indulges in latest trends of food like fermented food, small fish, wheat revolution, blood replace eggs, health is wealth, future foods. So these are all his achievements basically. And of course, Chef Ramu is going to talk about dynamics of healthy eating to live safe and to live long. Thank you, Chef. Over to you.
Thank you, Chef. Thank you, Chef Sitaram, for the intro. And I would love to, wish all the culinarians a very happy International Chef's Day. And a special thanks to the Sika board, Chef Sitaram, Chef Dr. Damu, Chef Kashi, Chef Kannan, Chef Bharani, all of you. It's so nice to see you all after quite long time in this, at least in Zoom, we are able to see it. So definitely, we chefs are learning the technology. As Chef rightly told, we are lacking in the technology. We are getting into the technology now. So having said that, I'll just share a small PowerPoint presentation. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about, being a trend in this world now. Chef Bharani spoke very well about all the native cuisines and the ethnic ones, and as well as Chef Damu also presented very well about all the traditional foods and all the traditions which we have been following, which is getting lost. Of course, that has been happening, but again, for the kind of growing populations, we have to, change a little bit, and we are not living in villages, no, we are living in apartments. So definitely until we come back to our root and train our kids and our new generation to these roots, we need to change a little bit of our lifestyle for not only for this pandemics, to get rid of all the things. So basically we need to know few things what actually we require. As a chef, we cook so much of food, we give the best of the delicious food, we give best reviews of everything we do. But we should take care of ourselves as well. Ourselves as well as our family. So for this, we need to know the basic things what a person as a chef or a human being should eat every day. So here comes. See, this is the recommended salt, fat and sugar per day for a human being. It is just 20 grams of fat. Salt can be 5 to 6 grams per day, and sugar can be 20 to 30 grams. This is the higher limit. I mean, this is the higher limit. If it is more than this, definitely it is in a danger scale. And as per your metabolism and as per your calorie intake, this has to be reduced. If this is not reduced, then definitely it is going to be a problem. And of course, this is a recommended parameter, but the right thing will be given by the doctors. So just to give a zest of like what actually we require every day in a new nutrient, this is what it is. 20 gram of fat, 5 to 6 gram of salt, and 20 to 30 grams of sugar per day. Okay.
I'll call you back.
So the next, the thing is, see, when we intake all these things in a higher level, we end up with various kind of problems. We put on weight, we get into chronic disease, heart disease, all kind of diabetes and all these things. So let us have a control, and then we have to be a smart eaters. It's more of, to get rid of all this pandemic issues, not only for this pandemic issues, even for the future. Unless in other ways we know how to manage ourselves in a day-to-day life, it becomes very difficult and we get into all these problems. So we need to little bit know about the fat. As a chef, we know, most of us, we know only certain, type of salts. We know one is unsaturated, the other one is saturated, and the trans fat. The trans fat is the most dangerous one should have. It is nothing but basically the dalda and the hydrogenated oil, the regular oil. See, it is not the sunflower oil what we buy and cook in the hotels nor at our home. It is called the hydrogenated vegetable oils. So one thing everyone we need to know is whenever we buy a oil packet, or when we go to the supermarket, or when we buy for a home, please ensure that you go through the labelings properly. I will come to that labeling in the next section, but I'll just give you a zest of like when you see the recommended fat is only 2%. The trans fat is only recommended as a 2%. But the manufacturer definitely they don't do like that. They have different names. For example, sugar. Sugar has 1,000 names, which is very difficult to manage. If you go and buy a juice, for example, you buy a packed juice in a supermarket, you can find the juice in the form of all O's, OAC. It is nothing but it's sucrose, glucose, lactose, maltose. This all comes in various forms, but this all is sugar. And this all are the added sugar. See, as per our requirement, it is only 20 to 30 grams. But what happens is, all this O's, the sucrose, maltose, they write in all the beautiful words, whatever is available. And there is one very dangerous thing called the aspartame. The aspartame is an artificial non-saccharine, which is sweetened 200 times. And the so-called name is nothing, but it's called NutroSweet or Equal, or they have a lot of fancy names. And people think it is a very, very good remedy for the sugar. Not actually. It has a lot of side effects. So one should be aware of what we are eating. So if you take any packed food, the things what we see is the type of sugars. They name it in different names. They give beet sugar, brown sugar, buttered sugar, canned sugar, kester sugar. But one thing we should know is this all are processed ones. It is not in the whole form. So whenever we buy, we should ensure that you go through all this. And they add even syrups. They call this high fructose corn syrups, which is very, very dangerous for health. The thing is, if it has been added in the right quantity, it's fine. But for example, you buy a cornflakes. A cornflakes, normally it's not just the kids I'm talking about. Even we skip a meal, like Chef Damu mentioned very well. A meal has to be split into 6 times. That is a very, very nice valid point, Chef, what you have told. because we don't follow that. When we try to skip the immediate option, what we think is, okay, we'll have some light snacks. If you skip the breakfast, let us have a light meal. What is it? It's nothing but cornflakes. And in that we find some taste without adding any fruits or some vegetables or nuts. What we do is we try to always use the sweetened one. The sweetened one is one of the very, very dangerous ones, because there is a lot of high fructose in that which is coated, which gives the taste. That is why the kids also get addicted to that. And we find it at a very, very easy meal for us. Actually, it is very, very dangerous. Now, coming to the, having said all this, why we go for all this? Why we like all this kind of food? Why the market is selling? See, the manufacturers, they're not fools, right? They would have done a proper market research and they would have entered into the market. And of course, they're very successful, and they're rocking in the market because they know what product to give at what time, how it can be given, so that they rock the market. And that's how the market is being. The simple reason is it is because of our sedentary life, our change in our lifestyle. This is what has changed a lot of things in this. I would say somewhere close to around 15 to 20 years. There is a huge revolution which has happened. The dynamics has totally changed from all the native food into all processed, manufactured, refined, and this kind of food it has gone into. The simple reason is once they start eating, they start craving. There is something called food craving. The people start getting into the food craving. See, food craving is, this is food craving. It is a selective hunger. It is intense desire to consume a specific food, and it is different from the normal hunger. It is not a normal hunger. It is just a craving for that particular food. And this food craving is the dietary's worst enemy. You know why? Because this type of food, we get confused whether it is a hunger or it is anything else. So they simply try to have, if they like a corn, something like a fruit juice, they try to consume fruit juice. If they want to have a pastry, they go and attack the pastry. This is a craving for food. It has simply come because the tongue has already tasted that and it needs more and more of it. If you feel hungry, let's go grab a small meal. What is that small meal? Let's go for some samosa, or let's go for something like a sweet, whatever sweet. And some people have the habit of drinking juice and filling their stomach, especially the packed juice, which is really, really very dangerous for us. So I will give you some few tips. Whenever you're feeling hungry, try to drink some water first. This is, there is a big confusion. Thirst is often confused with hunger or food craving. People think the food craving, it is because of hunger or because of thirst, they get confused. This very often happens to, and especially for a lot of this IT people who are sitting and work, this always happens. So this first remedy is drink water. So if you feel that sudden urge for a specific food, try drinking a large glass of water and wait for a few minutes. You will find the craving fading off gradually, because that was not actually a craving or a hunger, it was just a thirst. So this you can use it. Or you go for a high protein. When you're having a meal, try to have a good protein so you don't feel fall hunger very often. Eating more protein reduces the appetite and keeps you from overreacting. So go for a protein. The most important thing is get enough sleep. This is one of the very, very dangerous one, because sleep deprives many disrupts normal functionalities of a human being. The appetite hormones gets totally changed because of this less sleep. So one should always ensure that you get the enough sleep as per your whatever you're working. The minimum sleep is 8 hours is what we recommend. But I know as a chef it becomes very difficult, but we should try to have that one. Then the most important thing in all aspects, whatever you do, we should practice a mindful eating habits, because we sit in front of TV, we sit in front of mobile. You can see very well in our home, and we also do that. We eat food along with mobile. We eat mobile, not the food. We are watching mobile. Our mind is in the mobile, but we are eating food. So this is not a eating habit at all. So what you eat is, your brain has to get memorized like what you're eating. It has to give the sense of what you're eating, what is the nutrients going. So the mindful eating is one of the very, very, very important one. Eating mindful involves being present while you eat. Slow down the chewing thoroughly. It is also important to avoid distractions like TV, smartphone, and any other sort of means. So give 100% thought to the mindful eating. Okay. And the next important thing is, as Chef Damu also mentioned, avoid getting hunger very often. It means you need to have a good meal so that you don't fall hunger very often. Or split your meal in 6 times so that you don't fall hunger very often, and where you end up having some junk food. So don't do that one. So next is the most important thing I will tell you. When you're hungry, please don't go to a supermarket. This is one of the worst thing to happen. Because when you go to a supermarket or a grocery store when you're hungry, you probably pick up all the worst things which can satisfy your hunger immediately, which is of more of fat, salt, sugar, and whatnot. So whenever you're hungry, avoid going to them. As I told you, drink water, wait for some time. And when you're going with your family for purchase, please don't hunger. First you go to a mall, if you're going for any purchase, eat yourself, make your stomach full, then go to a grocery. If you go for a purchase grocery, you will not end up buying the junk food. The packed food will not come much into your store. It won't enter your house much. So try to avoid that one. Yeah. And try to fight stress. Take spinach extracts. This is one good medicine which I recently heard. And as I'm in a NetPro fans, there's a lot of nutritionists talking about this. The spinach extracts really help us in reducing the stress. As a chef, we all go through that. Is a part and parcel of our lifestyle. So having the spinach extracts is very, very helpful in the reducing of the stress. So these are some things which we may have to follow. The next important thing is the food labeling. As I mentioned that we go to the supermarket, how many of us go and exactly buy what we want seeing the food labels? We don't do that. We just see the front, which attractive. It looks, if you buy a juice, the front packet looks so beautiful, attractive. It is written organic, very fresh, all these things. This is what comes into mind. But if you just see back of the packet, you will see actually what the stuff is. So my recommendation is study the ingredient. Always look on the back of the packed food, whatever you're buying, because front label tries to lure into purchasing product and makes healthy claims. That's what it does. In fact, research showed that the adding health claims in the front of the label makes people believe a product is healthier than the same product that doesn't list health claims. So that is how it is. So always try to read the labels from the behind. Okay, so study the ingredient, what is there in that, because unless you know what is the requirement, that is the reason why I showed you what is the requirement of salt, sugar, and fat in our body per day. So once you know this, when you take a packed food, you will definitely look in and know at least, okay, this is what will be your requirement, at least basics. You have to teach at least the basics. And, this one most important thing is, serving size, you see in every packet, there will be written the serving size. You take a packet of biscuit, which is 250 grams. A manufacturer cannot decide what is the serving size. How will he know how much you're going to eat? You will eat 3 biscuit or 4 biscuit or 10 biscuit. How can he decide? He may not be able to decide, right? But there is a serving size. As per a serving size, it could be maybe half a packet. So in that half a packet, what and all is there, that is what he would have mentioned. But what we assume, okay, the entire full packet is with the same thing. That's what we assume because we don't read the label properly. So this is very important that, we should always know what is the serving size. So whenever you go to the supermarket, you buy, I would tell not to buy the processed food, but unfortunately we are living in a world where we may have to live with it. We don't have much of, if not for us, our kids are addicted to that. Until we bring back to the roots, we may have to follow that. And of course, the lifestyle is that, we cannot do anything. We have to stick on to certain things. So whenever you do this, please ensure that you see all these factors. And there are a lot of misleading claims. So this, I need not explain much about this because, we all know about it. We are all expert in this. And, they write it light, multigrain, natural, organic, no added sugar, whatnot. This all are there in that. But how do we know what is there, what is not there? We really don't know. I've seen a product, I've seen in one of the exhibitions when I went, I could see that they've written multigrains. Multigrains can be 2 or it can be anything more than that. And in that multigrains, it is written whole also. But actually seeing it is only 2 grains in which one is only one whole. But what we assume is, we assume it to be like multigrains. Too many grains are there in this. We don't see the label. Once we come home, we just open it, put it in our container or jar, throw away the packets. We don't know what was there in there. We miss it out. So it is very, very important that we need to know these factors. Then they write about the low calorie, low fat, gluten free, all these things. All these things are something which we need to really look into to ensure that we live a healthy, happy life in the future. At least not. We should teach our kids, the kids and the upcoming chefs should know what is the real effect of all this, what is the merits and what is the demerits. Of course, all this processed food and all this refined foods are all into some sort of the other damages to the health. So we should ensure that we teach us, and we should not promote this. We should not much promote this, because again, see, we are so responsible for the society's well-being. And as a chef, it is a profession, it's a God's gift to us. So unless we don't see, adding up of sugar, adding up of all the fake sugar, the trans fat and all these things, adding up in our meal and serving to the guests, they will come and tell, wow. But end of the day, there should be something called a heart. We should cook it from our heart. Will we do this for our family? We don't do that, right? So same thing should be followed for the guest also. So these are certain things when we procure it, to ensure that we check all this. Then coming to the the same packaging, the sugar, especially if you see, there will be a lot of names given for the sugar. So just go look at the sugar. There will be one sugar which is called added sugar. Below that you can see there will be 3-4 items. There can be corn syrup, there can be honey, there can be demerara, there can be corn fructose, maltose. All these things will be there. These are all nothing but sugars. But as of us, or a layman will know only added sugar, only one thing. The labeling, there is an issue, right? Which it's not in our preview. Of course, I think FSSAI will be taking up and they will do it. They should do it. If they don't do it, again, it's a big concern. So I think they should take it as a primary importance, and they'll have to do it. So that is one thing. Okay, anyway, that is their job. They will do it. But we have to be very much conscious on this. Then there is a lot of highly controversial ingredients like monosodium glutamate, MSG. Many times I myself have got confused, because if you go and buy something for a bakery, we buy a product, and when you look at the label, it will be written E621, E401. Who knows what the E60? It is nothing but it is monosodium glutamate. But how do we know? How do a layman know? As a chefs, these are certain terms which it's always good for us to learn and keep it, so that we at least know what is exactly the things in this. And because we buy a lot of product, we import a lot of products. Our standards, still they're setting the standards in India. So it's going to take some time for us to get into all that stage where, there's a proper standard where we need not worry about what we are going to eat. But until that, we have to follow all these precautions. So the bottom line is, of course, the best, just limit processed food. It is always best to limit the processed food altogether and eat whole, real food. This is the only option what we will be having in the future to keep our health safe. That is, in that way, you don't have to worry about the labels or the ingredients, because the real food doesn't ever need an ingredient. The list, real food is the ingredient. The real food itself is an ingredient. It doesn't have an ingredient. You take a real food, it is an ingredient. It doesn't have 10 ingredients into this. This has only in the processed food, the ultra processed food, the refined food. That is what has ingredients. So let us try to have everything on a whole. And one additional point is, every day try to add one bitter, one sour, one sweet, and salt to your body in a right quantity, not in a higher quantity. It should not be, one should be higher, because you take a coffee that we all normally do. We are bound to sit with our clients, we discuss for menu discussions, and we have so many times coffee. Please avoid having coffee every time with a sugar. Maybe this time you add a coffee, next time don't add creamer, don't add milk, add a plain coffee, or go for an espresso without any sugar. So that are certain small points which we can catch up, and we can cut down on our eating habits. And this will definitely allow us, and the mindful eating practice is one addition which we should always try to follow. And this will always allow you to achieve the better food, relationship between food, health, and the environment. So by saying this, no, thanks for giving me the opportunity, and I would love to wish you all again once more, and happy International Chefs Day to all the chefs. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. I think see, we have a couple of questions to you, Chef. I
Yes,
think,
sir.
what is processed food good for health or bad for health?
See, processed food, that's what I mentioned. When we look into the label and we know the permissible levels, what we should have, and more of all, it is about the calories, how much way. If you're taking 2000 calories per day, if your doctor has advised, okay, you have this kind of issues for you, you have more of cholesterol, you have more of sugar, then you're the right person to know what exactly is the processed food you should pick up. There might be companies which are having with different labelings. One might be having 28% fat, the other might be having 12% fat, the other might be having 50% sugar. So you're the right person who will be able to judge what you require for yourself on a processed food. I know limiting is not the possibility. Not buying is not the possibility, but limiting is in your hands. So we have to
Thank you.
buy as per the labeling.
Next question is like, is frozen or chilled foods
Yes.
comparatively good compared to processed foods?
I would say both. I would keep it at the same parameter. The reason is because being in Kerala, I've seen many packaging foods. Now there is a lot of hidden things which is added into the frozen fish or a meat. No matter it is in a processed form or it is in a frozen form. The simple example is they add a kind of salt to retain its moisture and they freeze it, which actually goes into the meat. And when we consume again, it becomes an added high salt. Apart from what we are cooking, we add to that. So I would say both stands almost equal. But I would see when our country like India, where we get naturally available and fresh foods, why do we need to go for a frozen food? It is not actually required. Actually, there is an added salt to it. There is an added salt to the frozen food. So both are equally dangerous.
Okay. Fine, Chef. Thank you. And I think there are a lot of takes from your presentation. I think fat, salt, sugar is something where we have to check our labels before we buy, which is very, very important. And you have created awareness among different types of sugar, basically, where we were seeing only 3 types of sugar those days. Now, an n number of sugars. I think even a lot of chefs, it's something new for all of us. And we are learning. Like we have learned something from your presentation. Then hydrogenated fat, which is very dangerous. Still, it is being permitted to sell in India, and I hope the government takes stringent measures to stop it. Basically, stop manufacturing 6 meals a day. I think, Chef Damu said, when you're hungry, you eat, or you break up your meals, basically, and then of course the coating which is there on cornflakes, which we need to be very careful. Better to take something which is not coated, and add sugar, whatever naturally which is available at your home. And of course, reading labels. You have created some awareness on reading labels on the food when we are buying, which we neglect. We just go in a hurry. We take up whatever we want. We grab it, we build it, and we bring home. Nobody has patience to read the labels. I think good awareness. And of course, last question is MSG.
Yes, sir.
Is it good or bad?
See, that is a new taste which is added up called umami, which was not actually there in the previous world, right? We never had this. So umami has come up. Maybe for a certain region of people, they are finding it better, I guess. But as of for our tropical region and our country, I don't think it is a wise idea to take much. Maybe once in a while, maybe fine, but not on a regular basis because we are not developed that kind of gene in our blood.
And I think to conclude, I think your Arusuvai Unavu, something where you told to balance the taste on a daily meal.
Yes.
On a daily basis, which is very, very important, which is being insisted in Ayurveda as well as in Siddha. Arusuvai Unavu, so the bitterness, all the levels, different intakes of levels, salt, sugar, all those things you have mentioned, which are very useful. Thank you, Chef. And there is a question, I think Chef Kasi can answer this question. Can you can you incorporate traditional methods of cooking in modern food? I think this is a question to Chef Bharani. I think Chef Kasi can answer this question. Chef Kasi? Chef Kasi, are you able to hear? There's a question, can you incorporate traditional methods of cooking in modern food? I think Chef
audio is having an issue. Yeah.
Chef Ramu can give us.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question again, Chef?
Once again, I repeat from Anjana. She has question: can you incorporate traditional methods of cooking in modern food?
Yeah. See, it's not that we cannot do it. Definitely, we can do it. Like if you take off Chinese cooking, the Chinese cooking, nothing but the maximum usage of ingredients with minimal cooking methods. Same like that in our cooking, we have different forms of. Hello. Hello. Can you? Hello. Hello. Can you hear? Can you all hear? Yeah. Is it audible, Chef? It's audible, right? Okay. See, definitely we can incorporate the cooking.
Yes.
See, cooking
methods.
Yeah, the cooking methods can be always incorporated with the modern way of making food. It's not that we cannot do it, but the cooking methods, the way how we present the food, this all are the only things which is going to change, but not the cooking method. Like you cook a biryani in a firewood with a natural firewood, it is done with a firewood, but end of the day, the product is a biryani. The same biryani, the way how you present becomes a modern way of presentation. You present the same tasty biryani which is done with a firewood with a different form of decorative presentation, eye appealing way. This is one way. The other way, you see the same traditional cooking method with a firewood. Only thing is, instead of keeping the brick with the same wood, there is certain the equipments which has come where you can use the same method, but to give the same traditional result. The equipments have come, but to get the same traditional way, but it looks modern. But we can do in the same traditional way. It's not that we cannot do the modern food with the traditional cooking method. We can do it. Chef, I think you need to unmute.
Sorry, Chef. Thank you, Chef. Thank you very much for the brief explanation. I think you have answered the question, and I think Chef Kasi is having a problem with the audio. Chef Kasi, you are on board, like your audio is rectified.
Yes.
Fantastic, Chef. Now you can quiet, Chef. Cooking is a life skill, and why it is not preached or practiced nowadays?
Come again, Chef.
Cooking is a life skill. Your topic.
Yes.
Cooking is a life skill, and it is not being practiced and preached in the schools like nowadays. Like,
well, yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Chef Ramu Butler for covering my absence. Thank you, Chef Ramu Butler. In Bangalore, heavy rainfall and networking is really. Somehow I managed on and off. I'm back here again. Let me go down to my subject.
Chef, I think I request Chef Ramu. I think Chef, your audio is still a problem.
Cooking is a life skill. Yes, obviously, cooking is a life skill. It will be there with you till you be into three different things, like what we ask, the present, and the future.
And Chef Kasi, I think I thank you because you have a still problem with audio. The audio is cracking. Chef Kasi, the audio is cracking, and I request Chef Ramu to throw some light on this, Chef. Like, cooking is a life skill. Why it is not being preached or practiced in the young ages or in the schools? Like, Chef Damu.
The parents should take initiative of teaching their kids because for their future. I always feel the person who knows cooking, their future is going to be very good. Because I could see so many diverse things happen because they are not taught cooking in the young age. So I said, as you rightly said, this is a life skill problem. And I also request all the parents at the age of 10, please teach cooking for your children. This will fetch really a good life in the future. And those days, actually, the Gurukulam, they had this the teaching for the children. Nowadays, even the government is not taking care on the teaching this, especially the occasional course on the food production. And because of that, many of the people are skipping out and going forward without knowing about the cooking, and they're going further. Only they now this is because it's a modernized world. They started eating this junk food and the what do you call it, the fast food, because they are not aware of the general cooking in the houses. So I feel very strongly in everybody's house, the parents has to teach for the children cooking. Then only their future is going to be good. If they let it be a male or let it be a female, everybody has to know cooking. Suppose a guy falling a sick, if he knows cooking, he can himself get up and then maybe at least hot water, maybe with the porridge, he can make by himself. If doesn't know that, he's in trouble. So I feel strongly the cooking has to be a life skill. Everybody has to know cooking, and that life is great actually.
Me now?
Chef, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you for the details and the presentation which you have given. Like, I think now, like swimming, cycling, driving, people consider this a life skill. I think cooking has to become a life skill. Cooking, it's a must. It should be taught in the schools in the basic levels before
No,
fifth
not
standard
only,
itself.
no,
Some
not
basics.
only, no, not only school, even the house, the parents have to teach them.
Yes, yeah, both the levels, if they can
Yes,
incorporate
yes.
this into their minds, they can live a
Yes.
healthy life wherever they travel around the world.
Exactly.
At least one meal, native meal they can have and they can live healthy. Otherwise, they depend upon the fast foods or the food which is available there and they fall sick. They are holding bigger designations with better salaries in better companies, but the health is sick. They are sick.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. That is what the people are facing now when they travel. And I think cooking is a life skill, which we all need to practice. I think with this, we will get, yes, Chef, Ramu, he wants to.
Yeah. Chef, one more, Chef Dama, I think, this also might be one reason. The gender-based cooking has to change, no matter it is in an urban area or in a rural area, because our parents, some of the, modern parents, okay, but there are parents who still think that, a gen is a gen and should not learn cooking. And they don't give that kind of importance to that. Am I right or wrong?
100%. Everybody has
Gender, exactly. See, even this world, gender-based cooking will never work.
Yeah. For information, now male only is cooking in the house, Chef.
Yeah, that's a very good sign.
Chef, now.
So one thing we can see during this COVID period for 6 months, most of the men are cooking at home.
Yes.
Yes,
that's a very good sign. That's a very good sign.
No, there is another question to you, Chef. Now, both the chefs, I think, both of you can answer.
Okay.
Who is the better cook? Whether it's a male or female?
Male.
Chef.
Male.
No, it's a wild reply. How do you?
I tell you, male always cook from the bottom of their heart.
Okay.
The female has got a lot of other works to do. Cooking actually when they say that moment they want to do it because they got rest of the work to do it. Whereas male member fully concentrate on the food and the food comes out very well. Because of diversion for the ladies, the food goes for 6 sometimes. So male always a better cook.
Thank you. Chef, I think Chef Ramu, since you are living in the part of Kerala,
Yes.
Can you give me a small brief about Ayurveda and Siddha? Can you give me some food related thing which through Ayurveda? What is that we need to follow?
Okay.
Live healthy.
Okay, I'm not a big expert in that one, Chef, but I've done few wellness cuisines over there. So with that knowledge, what I would say is, they have this seasonal food has been, no matter Kerala might be in 100% literate state, all this thing, but the tradition has been still followed a lot. So as how we have the seasons, they have the seasonal foods taken in a right way. So they call that Karikadam, that's during that monsoon, that rainy season, the first rainy season and all. They ensure that, they follow certain kind of medicinals which they use. Like this, as Chef correctly told, there's a Adimadram, that pepper, the pepper leaf. They have one called this allspice leaf, the 5 allspice leaf. These are certain things which they make a kashaya. Basically, அவங்க காலையில எந்திரிச்ச உடனே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து அந்த கஷாயத்தை குடிச்சிட்டு தான் they will start their work. Like a very simple example is their energy still being retained with that. அந்த ஒரு பழம் இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, அந்த பழம் ஒரு black tea. That is also a kind of method which they still following, because on the நேந்திர பழத்துல you have so much of strength. It is so much of strength that which can keep you until your lunch. So they have a lot of the spice leaves what is coming over there. Nariya spice leaves were there. Then they use they use that nutmeg husk, that is the javitri, what we jadika. Then they put this nellika, jadika, and they put pepper. Nellika, jadika and pepper போட்டு தருவாங்க. Now this is one thing even which I have tried it out. இது ஒன்று தருவாங்க. And the regular drinking water itself is with அந்த அதிமதுரம், the root ஒன்று இருக்கு chef. அந்த root போட்டு தான் கொடுப்பாங்க, or they will drink with jeera water. These are all the basic things which they still been following. I don't think any other states follow this one. Like even no matter it is 40 degree or 50 degree, you go to a restaurant or a hotel, they serve you a hot biryani or a piping hot soup. The water also will be hot water. Unless otherwise you ask them, it should be chill water, they won't give you. And it will come with that the thanni tharuvaanga, plus they'll give only jeera water. This is what has been followed.
No, another one is chukkuvellam.
Chukkuvellam tharuvaanga. Chukkuvellam is also another thing which they traditionally.
Thank you, chef. I think Kerala is one state where the food is not adulterated and the refined foods are not being very much used. They are still following the traditional recipes and traditional ingredients, which I definitely agree with you. That is the only state, whenever I have traveled across India, that's the only state still they follow their own. They are still not come out of coconut oil, their original oil. We still, other states have got confused. Like we use more of refined oil, then we are being tampered with advertisements and TVs. Through TVs and by media, where we are being forced to consume all the other oils, and we have changed as well. But Kerala is the only state where the food is still consumed in traditional way, and the ingredients are not being tampered. I think a lot of senior chefs are there. I think Gnanasekaran chef Ulaganathan is there, Chef Kannan, who is the junior chefs coordinator, who is their chief of Chef Raj Mohan. A lot of senior chefs are part of this webinar, and of course, very useful and very interesting. Healthy food for future is something which is a theme which has been decided by WAX for this International Chefs Day. We once again wish all the chefs and the participants who are there with us happy International Chefs Day. We will celebrate. We can celebrate from now next 10 days till this month end, the International Chefs Day. Please, there are a lot of I am able to see a lot of professors and faculties who are there, and then a lot of chefs, executive chefs and chefs are there. Go to International Chefs Day celebration and create awareness among all the chefs fraternity, and try to send us all the photographs and details, so that we will be you will be definitely, you or your institutions will be recognized in the next SICA forthcoming event. So I thank Mr. Brijesh Edward of Synergy. Chef Mr. Brijesh, can you unmute? And I think we thank you, and we thank Synergy team who are meticulously coordinating this entire event for SICA. And this is the 4th or 5th event. As well. And you would like to tell anything, Mr. Brijesh?
On behalf of Synergy, I thank SICA for giving us an opportunity to host this, and I think being amongst all the learned chefs here, I think it's a great honor to be, and it's a great honor for Synergy to host this, especially for SICA and for the chefs fraternity. I take this opportunity to thank and congratulate all the chefs for their achievements and for the things to come ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brijesh, and your team was really committed and very well coordinated. We thank for a continuous support for all the professional chefs and the student chefs who are there part of this webinar, and we will make it more interesting, and we will meet again with some different topics. I thank the Sika Presidium, Chef Damu, Chef Damu, who was with us and who is guiding us, like the entire Sika fraternity and the board, and who is very active at this age, and who is literally there, not sitting at home, traveling around and creating a lot of awareness and doing a lot of sessions for the students. Like we thank Chef Damu, and we thank Chef Barnikaran, who was almost drenched, and he was there in the farm for us, and he was there committed for us to show the natural farm. We thank Chef Barnikaran, who is in busy schedule. We thank Chef traveling, who's in, I think in Trichy now, as of now, and a lot of initiative to create a lot of awareness. At the same time, he has prepared himself well. He has done a PowerPoint presentation, which was very interesting. And of course, Chef, we do thank Chef Kasi. He had some technical issues because of the heavy rains at Bangalore, and he is not able to really communicate. Of course, we will bring him back again in the next webinar, and I think we thank all the chefs who are there, part of this entire webinar, and we wish you all once again International Chefs Day, and we thank the entire Synergy team once again, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
You're
you.
most welcome, Chef. It was very
Thank you.
interesting and
Thank you.
very useful.